Welcome to the hottest real estate topics on the planet, keeping you up to date with all the creative ways to buy and sell real estate without bank qualifying, so anyone can build real income starting today. Here is another great show with Dealmaker Bill and Pete the Rookie.
All right, here we are at another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies. Peter.
Good morning, Bill.
Episode 249. Good morning, Peter. 259. I got to be careful with these numbers because a couple weeks ago I said it was 266 and it was like 240, 250 something. Got to be careful with these numbers. All right. Yep. The name of today's podcast, Peter, is a pro's secrets on creative real estate deal hunting gargantuan deals. So, why do some real estate entrepreneurs do so well and others really struggle? Better yet, how do you fit your real estate activities to fit your life instead of changing your life to fit real estate into it? After all, isn't one of the objectives for creative real estate income to have flexibility, free time, debt paid, build retirement, help family, maybe even give to charity? But it seems so many work so hard yet never fully hit this stage of freedom of life. Ever wonder why? More to the point, why is it such a secret to actually set this up and get the results you so desire and have seen others do? What are you doing or not doing that you don't have this freedom and financial flexibility? In this podcast, you will hear how you and I, Pete, get sellers calling us and picking and choosing who gets our time and our focus to do deals with. Do you get that? We choose them. They don't choose us. That's the first hint. Also, how we make our deals, our real estate business fit our life. So we don't do, so it does what, I'm going to do that again. So also how we fit real estate to our life so we do what we want and when. This candid talk will probably not be what others are telling you, especially if you have to use their wallet to hear them. Or not share with you. This could quite frankly be the most amazing thing you will ever hear in real estate. Can you hear me okay, or is there a lag?
You know what's happening is the audio is pretty good, but sometimes the video freezes and then you get a little out of sync and then it catches up. But it's a little freezy today.
Okay. You think it's on my end?
Anyone else listening can verify if it's just on my... I'm not sure. If anyone else is listening, maybe you can just put something in the chat because my download speed isn't too hot here, but my Skyping with my other uses has been okay. I don't know if it's just me. But I can hear you okay.
Okay. So let's just continue and maybe somebody can put something in the chat. So we record this podcast every Thursday morning, 9:30ish. Sometimes it's 20 after, but it's never more than 9:30. So we record this podcast at 9:30 and we live stream it to YouTube and to Facebook. So if you would like to join us and ask questions, it's 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. You are more than welcome to join us and just type in the chat or in the comment section of either platform and it pops up right in front of my screen and I can answer your questions. Also, if you go into the description, Also, if you go into the description, you will see a link there. And about once a month, I change that link, and I've been putting some amazing goodies in there. So I'm not going to tell you what they are. It's going to be the element of surprise. So you got to go in there and you got to click on that link to find it. But I will tell you that I give away some cool shit in there. So John Ramirez says that the audio's been good, but he hasn't been paying attention to the video.
You got to tune in. You got to tune in.
Good morning. So live channel number 1 is here, and they're saying they're happy to be here. So good morning, and good morning, John Ramirez. He's one of my coaching clients. So Peter, because you're on my screen, you're all fuzzy. So I think it's maybe on your end. So yeah, see, it just like cleared up. So maybe you could twist the computer a little bit or something and see if you get a better connection.
Twist the computer.
Yeah, like move the computer a little bit.
Computer.
You just turn your laptop a little bit and see if you can. No. All right, cool. So while Peter's messing with that, the other thing is that I wanted to tell you is if you're listening to us in a podcast channel, please go subscribe to us and give us a like. And if you want to give us a testimonial, go to Flipping Houses for Rookies. Top right-hand side of the page is a testimonial link. You could do a video, you could do an audio, you could type it out. I would love to see those. I go check those out all the time. It's kind of like our report card. So if you have some feedback for us, even if it's not polite, go give us some feedback. Okay? All right, Peter, here we go. How you doing? You hear me okay?
Yeah, the audio's doing pretty good.
Okay, good. So I want to start off by saying this is going to be an exciting podcast. Mostly for me, because it's in the wheelhouse of marketing. And you know how much I love marketing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just let me talk for a little bit, and I'll talk about 2 things. Real estate and marketing. And then cigars, believe it or not.
Then cigars.
That's third.
Yeah, 3. Yeah,
third.
Don't forget
That's
that.
third. That's third, though. All right. In fact, if you have been listening to us regularly, this is going to start off a new series today. So before, if you've been, like I said, listening to us regularly, we just did a series of 7 podcasts or 6 or 7 podcasts where we talked about all the different strategies, right? Mm-hmm. So, but before I get into any of that, I wanna kick off on an odd note. Yet again.
Oh, really? Really?
Yet again. Yeah, something different.
Bill,
Me
I think
being odd.
Bill, I think your odd notes are normal even notes.
Okay, good. So here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
It's mostly the complexity of how most of us humans think. So I run into this this is Bill's planet right now. You're like right in the epicenter of Bill's planet is the complexity of how us humans think. Let me give you an example. Ice cream was invented in 2000 BC.
Not BC.
Yet it was 3,900 years later before someone figured out the ice cream cone.
Yeah, out of necessity, I understand, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Meat was on this planet before humans. And bread was first baked in 2600 BC. Nevertheless, it took another 4,300 years for someone to put them together and make a sandwich.
Again, out of necessity, right?
Yeah. Actually, it was a king. I forgot his name, but it was a king that did it.
Yeah, he was maybe a duke. He was some royalty. The Earl of Sandwich, perhaps? The Earl?
Yeah.
He's the Earl of, and I'm kidding. Like the Earl of Sandwich. I think he had some meat and he didn't have a plate. Oh, man, I got to go hunting.
Yeah.
Crap. I'll put it between some bread. Oh, boy.
How about this one? The modern flush toilet was invented in 1775. But it wasn't until 1857 before someone thought up toilet paper.
Oh, no. Oh, geez, Bill, could you just skip that one? That's gross. Gosh, it's early.
That's a crappy one, right?
Oh, boom, boom. Oh, you're killing me.
If you're wondering why I bring these points up today in today's podcast, check this out. Now that these marvels are all an integral part of our current lives, these connections seem simple and obvious, right?
Yeah.
After the fact. After the fact. They're so evident, and yet we can't believe we didn't see them sooner.
Yeah, but worse than that, I'll bet you anything when those things first started happening, people said, you're nuts.
Yep.
What do you mean toilet paper? What do you mean you put
Yep.
your bread between sandwich? What do you mean toilet paper? Who needs that? You're
Ice cream
nuts
cone.
to
What
do
is
it.
that? What are you doing to that ice cream? What's that stupid looking thing? A what? A cone?
It goes on your head.
Right? More to the point, right now, today, there is an endless number of these connections that haven't been made yet.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking about that, not to interrupt you, but the crazy thing to me is the things that haven't been thought of, people don't even think they should be thought of or don't even think they could be. You know, like, who thought of electricity? Like, oh, man, if we only had electricity. Very, very few people think of any of these things until one guy goes, hey, look, I got electricity. He's got the telephone. He had to convince people to do it. It was a struggle. Graham Bell struggled to get it, and now you can't live without our phones. Oh my God!
Right. Well,
Struggle.
now we got them in our pocket.
Yeah.
So I tell my kids this story one too many times. They're like, Dad, we already heard this, right? So think of it this way. I've told it to you too, but we'll tell the listeners now. So think of it this way. In 1921, what were automobiles like? Right? We
But
thought
they
they
were all black, weren't they? They're all black.
yeah, pretty
all
much.
black. Hey, what color do you want? Black? Okay.
Black or black.
Yeah.
So here we thought, as a human race, how slick we were, how smart we are. Look at the technology that we're living in. Oh my God, we're like the best race ever put on since planet Earth began. We're like the most advanced, technological, like, aren't we the smart society, right? And we walk around like this internal strut about how damn smart we are. Now come 100 years later, and what do the cars look like now? Right? We had no idea what we were going to do with cars. And it's getting even worse because now the President of the United States is talking about... The President of the United States is talking about stop making gasoline and diesel engines, and they're going to go all electric. And people are like, oh, no way, you can't do that. And you know what? The more I think about it, that's what they said about the telephone, too.
Yeah,
right?
Everything.
So,
Yeah.
So anyways, you go 100 years later,
It's funny. Hey, you're talking about the cars? I was down in Mystic last Friday at a little show, and there was like 10 cars from about 1920, and they were driving around. They were huge, and it was like pop, 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 bada, 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 bada. They were like amazing. They're still on the road, but man, what a difference! They parked next to our cars. It was absolutely bizarre. I mean, I actually saw 10 of them last week, just like you're saying.
Nice. So now take that concept, right? And let's put it in today's society, 2021, and apply it to the internet.
Oh boy.
We think what we're the cool dudes, man. Look at the internet that we have. We walk around with this little thing in our pocket called a phone with the internet on it, and we can find whatever we want. Hell, you could be anywhere you want, and you could be connected to the world, right? and how slick we are and how far advanced we think we are, right? And how smart we are as a civilization. Well, I beg to question you, what are we going to be like in 100 years from now with the internet? Are we going to park our internet next to the new internet, like you parked the car next to the new car, and see the difference? Right? So, so like I said, more to my point, right now, today, there's endless numbers of connections
But we can't
not
imagine
made.
it.
Yeah. There's endless connections not made, especially in the business world, but more importantly, in the real estate world. Right? We are surrounded by the obvious solutions that can dramatically increase your income.
Yep.
Power, influence, and success. We just haven't seen them yet. Let me give you an example. Increasing your income. Okay, increasing your income. And getting what you want out of life in business. Okay? How many ways are there to do this? How many ways are there to increase your income and get a better life and a better business? Is it 100? Is it 200? Is it 500? Is it 5,000? What if I told you it breaks down to only doing 3 things? Especially in real estate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what those 3 things are, and then I'm going to convert them into real estate, okay? So if you're a business owner and you don't do real estate or have another business, please pay attention to this because this is very insightful. So the only 3 ways to increase your income or your business is 1, increase the number of clients. 2, increase the average size of sale per client. And 3, increase the number of times the client returns to buy. That's it. Right? Now, are you ready? Let's put that into real estate. You should write this down, or if you're listening. 1, increase the number of sellers. You got a serious lag there. 1, increase the number of sellers you talk to. 1, increase the number of sellers you talk to. 2, increase the average size of the deal. And 3, increase the number of times your buyers can pay you. Simple, right?
Yeah, I was wondering where you were going on the last one, because it's not often we sell somebody a house and turn around and sell them another house and another house, like the plumber keeps getting the same customers or the barber. But there's many different ways and times to get paid by the seller. That makes sense.
Well, we talk about flipping houses, right? Like doing rehab retail. You get paid once.
Yeah.
Just one time. One time.
Yep.
When we do a lease option, how many times do we get paid?
3, but then every month makes it a lot more. So, a lot.
So if we lease a house for 5 years, we get paid probably about 63 or 64 times.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So just think about that. I mean, we can end the podcast there, and I've delivered on my promises. I mean, the 3 things. Now, how do you increase your income, especially with real estate? You increase the number of sellers you talk to, or offers you make. That's really what it is, but I'm being polite this morning. You increase the number of sellers and offers you make, right? Yeah. Increase the average size of the deal. And most would think, oh, you need to buy lower and sell higher. No. It could be cash flow. It could be equity. You increase the average size of the deal. Right?
Yeah.
That might mean you're a little sharper with your rehab and you save $5,000 on your rehab. That's increasing the size of the deal.
Sure.
It might mean that you sell quicker and you don't hold it for 6 months. You hold it for 4 months. That will be increasing the size of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
You're clever with your advertising and you find sellers quicker. That increases the size of your deal. You might be good at your advertising and find buyers quicker. That increases the size of the deal. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was looking at the deals we have done the last few years, and the amount of profit keeps going up. And I don't know if you or I were even trying, but whatever we've been doing, they started at one level, and they're like 3 times one of the first deals we did.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's pretty simple, right? I mean, that's what you need to do. Increase the number of sellers you talk to and offers you make. Increase the average size of the deal. Increase the number of buyers, the number of times buyers pay you.
Makes sense.
Right? So, by the way, a big fat thank you to the famous and wonderful Jay Abraham for this information, because I read it out of his book called "Get Everything You Want Out of What All You Got." Get everything you want out of all you got is the name of the book by Jay Abraham. So I got the analogies from the ice cream cones and sandwiches, and I got this 3. I just read it to you out of his book.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. I want to make sure he gets credit for that. Okay. All right. Now this makes sense up to now, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, too many real estate entrepreneurs don't think like this. Remember, putting simple things together.
Yeah.
97% of most doing real estate are one-trick ponies. Looking for a wholesale deal, just a subject to deal, a rehab, etc., etc.
But just one of those.
Just one.
Pick one and try to stay with one. Man, boy, does that limit you. Jeez.
Or more to the point, they make a decision, I'm going to wholesale.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Right? Like I have a coaching client right now that is doing that with subject to. And he's got, I think, 3 or 4 subject to deals working.
Yeah.
Right? So I actually talked to him on the phone, right? And which is hard because there's a 7-hour time difference between us, right? So I talked to him on the phone, and we're going over a couple deals, and I said to him, hey, you got this deal over here. Why are you trying to stuff it into a subject to? Why don't you turn it into an option agreement and just get an option from him? Because nowadays, with the economy the way it is, options work just fine. We don't use them all the time, but we can use them now. So why don't you sign an option? I said, I think you could make probably about $30,000 on that. Oh, no. I just want to concentrate on subject to deals. I don't want to mix my head up. I don't want to confuse myself. I don't want to. I said, why don't you send the lead to me and I'll do it? No, whatever, right? So then we get on the coaching call, and I just, now that he's in the group, right? This group I actually do a Zoom call with because they're 7 hours away from me, right? All of a sudden, I say to him the same thing I said before, but he's in a different frame of mind. And he already heard me say it. He texted me 3 days ago and told me I got the option agreement. So he's got somebody that's got $190,000, $180,000, $190,000 house. He's for $100. He signed an option agreement for $150,000, and it's got 3 months to go sell it. What's the matter with that? That's a hard one to give up. Had I not been there, had I not been coaching him, had I not got him to look at that deal in other ways, because that's what a coach does, is a good coach, all they do is make you look at the problem from a different angle. Like if we're sitting at a table and there's a bottle of water and you're on one side of the table and I'm on the other side of the table, there's a bottle of water there, but you're going to see certain things I'm not going to see, and I'm going to see certain things you're not going to see. So all I'm doing is saying, hey, Pete, come around this side of the table and look at the bottle from this angle. And that's what a good coach does, right? At least that's what I think anyways. So I got him to look at the transaction from a different angle. And all of a sudden it popped. It stretched his mind. He's like, oh, wow, I should do that. Why wouldn't I do that? Right? So anyways, so that's what I'm talking about. when
Yeah.
you
But
know, when I say
it took them a little bit to like stop thinking the same way and shift out.
yeah, I hear a lot of times because I'm on the phone. I do a free like right now. If you go click on the link in the description, you get a free 45-minute consultation with me, right? And most people think that it's like some sales pitch or something like that, and it's not. 2/3 of my calls or more, better than 2/3, are just me helping, right? The reason why I do it is because it's karma. You know, it's just me. And if you know me at all, you know I do shit like that all the time. I give to charities, I give back, I do a lot of that stuff, right? It's just who I am. 97% of most real estate
Yep, you do.
investors.
It's true.
97% of most real estate investors are one-trick ponies. And that's what I'm talking about. So here's what happens when I'm talking to these investors. They'll tell me, I've been listening to your podcast. You know, a lot of people listen, 30, 40, 50 podcasts. I really like how you do things. As soon as I get a deal, I'm going to hire you as a coach.
Oh. That's like as soon as I win the race, I'll get a jockey.
Yeah. And it's like this example of my coaching client right now that had a $30,000 deal sitting in front of him, and he had no idea that it was sitting there. He didn't see it.
Yeah.
Right. He had blind spots. Right.
Yep.
And now all I did was just poke him and prod him a little bit, and now all of a sudden he's got a chance to make $30,000. He's in the path of progress now. Right.
Yep.
Will he make the 30 grand? I don't know, but I'd rather be in the position he's in, than the position he wasn't in. He's in the path of progress now, right?
Yep.
All right. So, good morning, Yvette. So, what happens is like I was telling you earlier, why does it take us 3,900 years to figure out ice cream and ice cream cones go together? Because sometimes the simplest things you can't see, right? Or sometimes things are so simple you don't think they're important or significant, right? Mm-hmm. Like my ex-father-in-law he actually believes if he doesn't pay top dollar for something, it's not worth it. He's one of those kind of people, right?
Yeah.
So he overpays for everything because he believes if he's got money and he believes that everybody else buys a car for $25,000, he's got to pay $35,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the simple things we kind of skim over. So one of the most common things that we talk about all the time is money now, money monthly, money later. Right?
Oh yeah.
That's if you think about it, that's how we figure out how to increase numbers. That's how we figure out the three things to increase. So increase the numbers of sellers you talk to and offers you make. Mm-hmm. Right? Increase the average size of the deal, and increase the number of times your buyers pay you. Mm. You'll figure that out by virtue of just using money now, money monthly, money later.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. So maybe we have the cart before the horse a bit, talking about all this, right? Mm-hmm. So what I want to do is spend the rest of the podcast, which is about another 15 or 20 minutes, I hope. Let's spend the rest of the podcast, now that we have the theory under our belt and everybody's hopefully on the same mindset that I'm on at this point when I'm talking about this, let's reverse engineer how to make all this information that we're talking about implementable today. Mm-hmm. So this is all cool. This is a bunch of theory. This is all good. Let's just see how it works. Okay?
Please.
You're a little lost?
No, I believe you, but let's get to work. How do we use it? That's the important.
Dan Kennedy says, a perfect marketing campaign is only a success because you nailed the message, the market, and the media. So you had the right message to the right market on the right media. So the message is what you say. The market's the people you're talking to, like somebody that actually wants what you're saying. And the media is like the newspaper, the internet, the telephone, the direct mail, whatever. You nailed it.
Yeah.
So in other words,
how you reach them.
right. So you're in their environment. You're on their island, speaking their talk.
Right.
And offering what they want. You know, this is like an island in the middle of the desert. You know, that somebody's stranded on. You know, it's like 200 feet by 200 feet, and somebody's stranded on it, and it's just sand with one palm tree. Right, and he's been on this island for like 5 days, stranded on this island for 5 days, and you come along with a bottle of water. How bad do you think he's going to want that bottle of water? What do you think he'll do to get that bottle of water?
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
And that's what Dan Kennedy's talking about is when you nail the right message, the market, and the media. Okay,
Right.
So we've also heard me blabbing, and I blab about it a lot because I'm a blabber. Blah blah blah. Right? You hear me talk about this. 60% of your success. 60% of your success. That's a big number. 60% of your success is who you're talking to or who you're trying to attract to have a conversation with.
Your market, who you're talking to, your public,
Your
picking the
farm
right
market,
people.
Your
Yeah.
farm market, right?
Yeah.
20% of your success is the message you use to get their attention and want them to continue talking to you, I mean. So 20%, excuse me, 20% is the message you use to get their attention so they want to continue talking to you. Then 20% is the way you personally handle them. Right?
You know, that might be a little unbelievable, but the prospects that I found myself, it didn't matter what I said. Thank God. You know, they were so like, I need to do this. They were so needing what had to happen that you didn't have to be a genius. They were like,
Right.
whatever. I'm hungry. What do you got to eat? I'm hungry. All I got is tuna. I'll take it. You know, it's like that. I'm hungry.
Right. So that's pretty cool that you speak about that because we are going to do a few of these. We're going to probably for the next month, maybe a month and a half, be talking about this kind of stuff. It's going to be about marketing and some negotiation. How do you talk to people? Okay, that's the series coming up. And anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. My point is that one of the things that kills deals most, and I'm letting the cat out of the bag, is neediness. And what you need to do is you need to subdue your neediness long enough to find out what their neediness is. Get that? Okay. Peter's internet keeps going in and out.
No, you're right.
So here's what happens.
Oh, hey, you know what? Hey, Bill, give me a second. I didn't plug my Wi-Fi wire in my hard drive. I had taken everything apart. I go, oh crap, it's on the floor. I'll be right back. Keep talking.
Good old Peter.
Look, see? I got my Ethernet.
No, the Ethernet cable. There you go.
I took it all apart. Wi-Fi, expander, blah, blah, blah. Let's see if that helps.
All right, is that better? Everything in order over there now, Peter?
Oh, never. Yeah. Maybe it'll be good.
All right.
It's good now. Okay, keep going.
So pay attention to what I'm telling you. 60% of your success is is who you're talking to. 20% is the message, and another 20% is how you speak to them. So listen to that. Just listen to the numbers. If you listen to what we teach here and on my website and all that kind of stuff, and have and what I have painstakingly figured out. Now remember, excuse me, toilet paper was invented in 1775. I'm sorry, the flush toilet was invented in 1775.
The toilet.
And the toilet paper didn't come till 1857. So that was painstakingly times, right? Which is the reason why we had bidets, by the way, because they washed themselves. That's what they did, right? So, yeah. So I'm telling you that I've had those painstakingly times trying to figure some of this out. Try to put a third eye on yourself and observe yourself all the time. That's not easy to do, right?
No, it's out of the blue. It's creativity in a void. It's really tricky, and you don't even know what you're looking for. You don't even know if there's anything to find. It's bizarre.
Right. So when I'm telling you
most people
right
don't even
now,
think about it.
Exactly. When I'm telling you right now, hear me loudly. I'm on the steeple of the church as high as I can go, and I'm screaming at the top of my lungs right now. 80% of the work is done for you if you do what we're talking about. If you talk to the right crowd and have the right message, that's 80% of the work. You don't need to spend 5 freaking years trying to figure out how to talk to a seller and be a salesman and use the sentences that I use and know the math and the deal structuring and all this kind of stuff. No, what you need to do is find a motivated seller. Because when you find a motivated seller, you do just like they said, what Peter said a few minutes ago. They do what you want them to do. They will let you learn. They will let you make mistakes. They will forgive you as long as the end result is they get relief or what they want. So why are you spending so much time trying to be the perfect investor that says the perfect thing so you can close them in 45 minutes? No, that's not how it works. I've closed hundreds of deals myself and probably that many for my coaching clients. I've talked to thousands of buyers, and I still fumble around on the phone, and I still make mistakes, and I still do things wrong. Because I'll have my head up my ass, or I'll be thinking about something else, or whatever. And I still make deals. The difference between you, the listener, and me, the guy that's spoken to thousands of people, is you need to make more phone calls than me. I can convert more because of my practice. And as you practice and as you get better, the number of phone calls and the number of new sellers you need to speak to will go down like I have. But in the beginning, you need to concentrate on just finding that motivated seller, which we talk about all the time. What the twist is in today's podcast is, how do you find them? What congregation are they in? Where are they? Can we be tactical about finding those sellers instead of having to weed through all the suspects to find the needle in the haystack? Can we actually spend a little bit of time figuring out where is our perfect seller? And then go in that congregation and speak to them. So the likelihood of them wanting what we have to offer will increase. All your education doesn't need to be spent on coaching, which I'm a coach. I want you to be one of my coaching clients. I want to take your money. I want to coach you. I want to help you. But I'm telling you, until you get this mindset, it may not be possible that the coaching will work for you. Right? You need to get this mindset of where is, Grant Cardone says it, who's got my money? He says it all the time. Who's got my money? I wake up every morning and think to myself, Grant Cardone says this, I wake up every morning and wonder, who's got my money? In other words, he wants to do something for them to get his money. And you should wake up and say, who's got my motivated seller? Where's my motivated seller today? They're out there. Where are they? How come I can't find them? Right? So 80% of the work is done for you if you pick the right list and you use the messages that we give you that are proven. Right? If you want to fit real estate into your busy life, then do deals that are not complicated to begin with. Like lease options and options. rent to own. These are deals that have no risk. You need no money and no experience. Experienced professionals like bankers and lawyers to do these transactions. How hard is it for you to get on Facebook today and go to Marketplace and go into the for rent section and type in there and say, hey, they got a house for rent. Pick houses, not apartments. They got a house for rent. And you send them a message and say, would you be willing to lease it to me for a year or two and then I buy it? Somebody will say yes if you do that. If you do that for 10 minutes a day, somebody will say yes. Mm-hmm. You go look at the property, as long as it's something that's marketable, right? Mm-hmm. You go look at the property, and you say, I want to rent this, and I want an option. How much would you sell it for? Oh, you'll sell it for $100,000? Okay, good. So here's what I want to do. I want to pay $1,200 a month and an option for $100,000. Right?
Yep.
Now you put on Facebook Marketplace, you put that you have a house for sale, no bank qualifying. And you go find a buyer that's willing to pay $125,000 and $1,500 a month. You sublease it. So you're not paying the money, they are. But what did I just tell you to do? I'm telling you to swim in the pond with the right fish. This is like buying houses in a barrel. Right? Like fish in a barrel? No, this is like buying houses in a barrel. Right? You want to fish in a barrel, you're guaranteed to catch a fish.
Yeah.
But if you do what I'm telling you, you're guaranteed to get a deal. You're making this complicated, not the business. You're overthinking it. You just need to get in there and practice. Right? Now, here comes the hidden pro secret that I promised.
Yeah, but Bill, God forbid, what if somebody actually did this and somebody said yes and they had a deal on their hands? My God, what would they do then?
Do the deal. Go online, type in whatever city, St. Louis, lease option forms, and you'll probably get e-forms come up, and they're not the best forms in the world, right? Here's another idea, Peter. Go get those forms, go get those e-forms that say lease option in Georgia, or in San Francisco, or in Wallingford, Connecticut, right? For about $95 or $99 a month, you can get a service called Legal Shield. Mm-hmm. I have it. I use it. Legal Shield. You fill out the contracts and you send it into your Legal Shield agent, because, by the way, Legal Shield has an attorney in your state that runs your state, for $99. And by the way, the membership is a month by month. You don't have to do it for every month. So if you got a deal, you pay $99. You fill out your forms. You send it into Legal Shield and ask them if this is cool. I mean, come on. What do you want me to do, the deal for you now?
Oh, would you?
Yeah, for a larger fee than $99.
Yeah.
Right? Now, here comes the hidden pro secrets. I started this before. If you know you want to do these deals, go where those sellers are. I just was talking about this.
Yeah.
Right? And talk to them. Think of this. Not all creative real estate investing is created equal. So many jump into this business thinking as long as there is a seller selling and a piece of property connected to it, they can do a deal. And they spend way too much time trying to convince the seller to do the deal the way the real estate entrepreneur wants to do the transaction. And then
really?
Now listen to this. It's such a trap, Peter. I get so wound up about this. It's such a trap. So they go sit in this house, and they're in the wrong house, because they didn't do what we're talking about. They didn't sort their list. They didn't talk to the right people. They just went out there and say, oh, there's for sale by owners out there. Let me go check on the for sale by owners. And they get in a house and the seller just wants cash. And you're saying to the seller, oh, you want $200,000 for this house? I'll tell you what, here's what I want to do. How about if I give you $1,500 a month for rent, and when I get my buyer to cash me out, I'll give you the money.
It's not what he wants. You're selling hot dogs. He wants hamburgers. Sorry.
Wrong house, wrong place.
Yeah.
John says, I love situational buying and selling. That's a good way to put it. Okay, so now you're in the house and you're trying to convince this person.
We haven't called it that. That's a fancy word.
Yeah, exactly. Now you're in this house and you're trying to convince this person that wants $200,000 cash, and they don't want to pay the fees. That's why they're for sale by owner. So they want the whole $2,000. I mean, $200,000. They don't want $1,500 a month. They want the whole $200,000. They don't want to pay a realtor fee. They want to pay closing costs. They're willing to reduce it to 5% that they would give the seller. I mean, the realtor. That's their negotiating. So they want $195,000. Or 5% would be $10,000. So they want $190,000. They're not going to take a penny less than $190,000.
Yep.
Which, by the way, we could do that deal if we did a slot deal or an option deal. We could do that deal. Mm-hmm. We're just not going to stay in it very long. Right?
Yep.
So they're in there trying. So here's what happens. So now they're in this house, and because those type of sellers are on every street corner, they go in 3 or 4 or 5 houses. They talk to sellers. So they think this is the way it is, with air quotes around it. This is the way it is. Oh, I better go learn how to talk to these people. I better go listen to Bill or people like him, and I better get a script. I better go study this so I know how to convert them. I need to go do this and I need to go do that. It's all false data, because if you spoke to the right person. Now let's change the situation. You go speak to a landlord that's renting, and you said to him, would you be willing to rent it for a year or two and then sell it? He's already renting for $1,500 a month. Or $1,200 a month, whatever the number is, right? So you ask him. So you're collecting $1,500 a month. If you don't have the landlord obligations, you don't have to fix toilets and you don't have to do anything, and I promise to pay you in 2 years. Can you give me a discount on the rent? And get a couple $100 off. Right?
Sure.
So you get a couple $100 off from him, and instead of charging $1,500 for the rent, you're going to charge the buyer $1,600 because it's not a rent to them because they're buying a house because they have an option. So now you make $300 a month. That's $3,600 a year. You do 10 of them, that's $36,000 a year. I mean, a year. Yeah, a year. $36,000 a year.
Yeah.
Right? My point is, you didn't need to go study and get all the scripts and all this kind of other stuff because you were in the right pond. This is like fishing. If I'm going to catch a largemouth bass, I'm probably going to use a worm or some sort of a certain lure. Am I going to take an earthworm and go out on the ocean and catch a shark with it? Probably not. Why? Because there probably aren't earthworms in the ocean. Because earthworms don't live there. They're not indigenous to that to that environment. It's not a natural thing for them to be in that environment. Earthworms don't live in salt water. So the fish are not used to eating earthworms. It's the same way with real estate. It's like you're taking your earthworm and you're going out into the ocean and you're putting it in there, and then you're wondering, gee, I wonder why they're not biting. I wonder why I'm not catching any fish. Oh, maybe I need to buy a new boat. Maybe I need to buy a new fishing pole. Maybe. No, I know, Peter. I know what it is. We got to go buy a $5,000 fish finder. That's what we got to buy. Never even realize that it's the bait. Never realize it's the bait. You're going to go buy a radar machine so you can find the fish. That's what this is like to me. This is how I see it. Right?
Yeah.
All right. At this point, you feel defeated, uneducated, like they aren't going to cut out they're not cut out for this type of work, and they fade off into the sunset. I've seen this happen way too many times because they come into the business thinking that they're in the real estate business, not in the marketing business. Mm-hmm. They don't get that part. But, and this is a big but, if those real estate entrepreneurs studied the seller's life just a little bit, mm-hmm. knew their restrictions, knew what environment they were coming from, which is another podcast we're going to do, like, where is your seller coming from? Just as a quick, because we're over on time and I still have a couple more things to talk about, but just as a quick note on that. If you were in a house or you were on the phone talking to a seller and they just got off the phone with the bank that says they're going to foreclose, how do you think that conversation is going to go? It's going to go good, right? Because they're going to need to sell because they just got off the phone and the bank is foreclosing and they need to do something. Mm-hmm. Suppose you do the same scenario. You're on the phone with somebody and they just talked to their realtor friend and they gave them a comparable or an estimate on their house and it was $40,000 or $50,000 over what they think they wanted. How's that conversation going to go with you? See the difference? One is motivated, the other one isn't. So where your seller comes from, what environment they're coming from has a lot to do with this. Okay? So here's how we're going to end off. Right? If you know what their restrictions are, you would be able to do this. So this is the 4 steps. We talk about this all the time. I'm going to buzz through them just so you tie it in. You need to find and communicate to sellers who are most likely to do transactions the way you want to do them. And then there's less restriction and failure. Right? So find and communicate to sellers who are most likely to do transactions the way you want to do them. So there's less restrictions and failure. 2, tell those sellers that you buy houses. Mm. And you are in the right, and if you're in the right congregation, they'll stop and listen to you. They won't ignore you, or they won't tell you to go F off, or they won't send you nasty text or anything like that. Right? Or even worse, invalidate you when you call them up and make you sound like you're a piece of shit because you're calling them and wanting to buy their house and you're an investor, which, by the way, the word investor means that you want to buy at a low price. So you don't tell them you're an investor. You tell them you're a real estate entrepreneur, because then they don't. Then entrepreneur means you're going to make money. Everybody's going to make money, right? And then you move on to step 3, which ask them what is needed and wanted. And again, if you're in the right congregation, they should need and want what you have to offer. If you're in the right congregation and you ask them what's needed and wanted, and if you've done a good job of finding the right congregation to talk to, they're going to be interested, and you're going to be interested because you can offer it. You know, that's like going into New York City and saying you want to buy a high-rise building for $100 million. Well, if it's your first transaction, how are you going to do that? Where are you going to get $100 million? Even if you had the $100 million, how are you going to do the transaction? You don't even know how to do it. So why not pick things that you know you can do, like lease options and subject tos and rent to owns, all the easy ones first, and go find those people. Once you figure out what's needed and wanted, you can give them what they want because you've reversed engineered your marketing to attract the people with your message that you want to do business with. Instead of trying to attract everybody, you've attracted the exact right people so that you can help them because that's where your available resources are. Right? Is this making sense? Good.
Absolutely. We us beginnerish kind of guys think real estate is hard. Well, we can make it hard.
Right.
Or we can just think it through, do a little study, just analyze it a little bit, and realize, it's not buying and selling. It's like a business. How do you deal with the seller? How do you deal with the buyer? How do you find them? It's a business.
If you don't have people walking in your front door or new customers, you don't have a business.
Yeah.
And that's what happens in real estate. We don't talk to or communicate enough with new sellers.
Mm-hmm.
Or we don't do a good job of doing follow-up and keeping track of them. Because that's the magic in the business, is talking to new sellers and then staying in communication with them because life changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
So where a month ago they might think you're nuts. I mean, I always told the story in seminars where I was in a house one time and I gave the guy offers and he practically threw me out of the house. He made me feel like I was the biggest idiot on planet Earth. Like, why would I do that? Are you freaking nuts?
Mm-hmm.
And like a month or two later, I'm at my office and my phone is blowing up. I'm like, who the hell is this calling me? And it's this guy. Mm-hmm. And he came home. It is on a Monday, and he came home on Friday night and found his wife in bed with his best friend. Now all of a sudden, guess what? The house is for sale because he's getting a divorce, and he wants to screw that bitch. Right?
His words.
Yeah. I mean,
words.
It's what he told me.
Yeah.
Right? Time changes everything.
Dump the house. Don't let her have any of the money. Oh, yeah.
Time changes everything. Right?
Yeah. Well, if you talk to a for sale by owner or just somebody you run into and they just started the process of selling the house, they think they don't need you. Wait a few weeks. Wait a month or two. Wait 3 months later. It's not moving. It might be the right time to talk to them because you're getting as you call it, humbled.
Right. So one of the best questions in the world, which we don't talk about enough, and I use it all the time. One of the best questions on planet Earth in creative real estate is this. So if we don't do whatever your offer is, if we don't pay you, if I can't give you, or no, wait a minute, forget about that. The question is, what's plan B?
Yeah.
So if you don't sell to me, what's plan B? That's the question.
Yeah.
If you don't sell to me, what's plan B? And that'll tell you the whole story. It's like, oh, well, my friend down the street says her sister wants to buy the house. Mm-hmm. Or my brother's a realtor. He says he can get, $250,000.
Yeah, because there's more going on in their heads. It's not just what you're seeing. They didn't just come up with this. And when you walked in the door, they have ideas, they have backup plans, and they're not going to tell you. So that's a good one. And you say plan B.
Yeah, I say plan B. So if you don't sell to me, what's plan B? Because they have you in front of you. They have you in front of them. This is like, oh man, I'm starving. I haven't eaten all day long, and it's like 5 o'clock at night. Where can I get food? You jump in your car and you go down that road that has McDonald's and Wendy's and whatever else. The
Chick-fil-A.
The Mexican place. Yeah, Chick-fil-A. Got all the places in there. You're driving down the road and you're thinking, what do I feel like? It's the same thing. So these people are driving down the road and they're looking at their choices. How many choices do I have? Oh, this guy keeps calling me. I wonder what his choice is like. Right? Sometimes I'll reverse the question and I'll ask them, so what's plan A? Because obviously I'm plan B.
Yeah, they have something already in the works. They just want to see if you can beat it.
Yeah.
If you're better.
Yeah. Or I'll say to them, if you don't sell to me, what's plan B? Like if I'm in a house and they're like, they don't want to take monthly payments or they don't want to go 60 months or they like the deal, but there's some little nuance to it that they're like, they're stuck on.
Yeah.
And what it does is it's a salesmanship thing because you like pull the air out of the room when you say that because you're taking away your offer because right now they're in control when you're giving them offers, but when you say no, you allow them to say no or you say no, which we're going to cover in another podcast. It's a whole different ballgame. When you withdraw your offer, it tests their ability. Right?
It's like with the bait. You pull the bait a little bit, see if the fish cares.
Yep. All right, so let's get out of here. 2 quick things before we log off. I plan to elaborate on how you would do some of this stuff. This was just an overview. This is just to kind of get your way of thinking in the right direction. So you're not going north and I'm going south or vice versa. I plan to elaborate on how you would do some of this stuff over the next several podcasts. Peter is going away for a few months. He's taking some time off. Yay, Peter.
Hey, Bill, as you said all those things at the very beginning of the podcast, I don't know if you could notice if I was too cloudy at the beginning. I was smiling because I was checking the boxes, man. I'm serious. I was checking the boxes of all the things you said. I'm going check.
That's why I wrote it.
I'm taking, yeah, okay. Yeah, folks, I'm your guinea pig. You're welcome.
Yeah.
No, I'm really, we've had some success. I got another property for sale going right now. Yeah. And I'm sitting a bit pretty. I'm not a bazillionaire, but for me, this is crazy good. So, folks, listen to Bill.
Thank you.
No, seriously.
So while you're gone, I think I'm going to split up the podcast. Sean, my new partner, one of my new partners, is going to do some of the podcasts with me. He's 25 years old and very aggressive. He's a great kid. And I think I'm going to try to split them up and get my daughter Jessie to do some with me, which would be really fun. Get her to do a few of them because she has a different perspective. So I would like you to understand that there's some things in Bill's mind that just can't seem to get rattled around. And one of them is how these millennials work. Because I'm an old guy like you. So both these guys are millennials. So we're going to get just from that perspective, because Sean is 25 and my daughter is going to be 30 in a few days, right? So these guys both, or guys and girls, both have the perspective of the younger generation. So I'm hoping that brings a new light onto the podcast. So look forward to that because it's probably going to go, we're going to kind of flop it around. I might put a few guys. I think I'm going to get a few while you're gone. I'm going to get some of my coaching clients to come on and talk about their success. So we're going to kind of tune up the podcast a bit. Okay, so it's not the same old, okay?
Well, I'm glad I'm shaking things up for you, Bill.
There you go. Good. Also, if you don't want to wait for all those podcasts and you're one of those kind of people that just want to jump in and get things done and you're ready to do something now, there's two things you can do. You can go to flippinghousesforrookies.com/buy without a loan. So it's flippinghousesforrookies.com/buy without a loan. That's my flagship course, and you could get everything you need in there. I have people that have studied that for a weekend, and the following year made $250,000 plus. Yep. I have people that have studied that course, and 2 weeks later signed up for coaching because they have 3 deals. Okay, and of course I've got a lot of people that study it and probably never even open it. So there's both sides of it. That course walks you through an entire deal. I actually did that course while I was buying a house, a subject to house. And I walk you through it. It's got paperwork in it. It's got videos to show you how to do the paperwork. It's got marketing in it. It's got all the scripts on how you talk to people on the phone, how you talk to them in the house. It's got everything in there. There's nothing that you miss when you get that course. If you're not up to that point and you don't want to, do a transaction yet, the other thing you could do is go to flippinghousesforrookies.com/deal hunting monthly mastery. Deal hunting monthly mastery. That's a monthly membership that every month, the first Wednesday of the month, I spend 2 or 2.5 hours on a Zoom call with you, and then I give you a bunch of materials, and you use it for 30 days. I give you a page with all the scripts and all the videos and all the training on different marketing. So we've been doing this since September of 2020, and it is now July of 2021, and I have not yet repeated a marketing strategy yet. So what is that? About 9 marketing strategies that I've gone over individually.
That's awesome.
So every month it's a different marketing strategy. Okay, and these work because I get clients that use them and get deals, and they end up into the coaching group and all that kind of stuff. Okay. If you are driving or you're doing something, working or something, and you can't write these down, where this stuff is, just go to flippinghousesforrookies.com. And just on the top of the page, just click on courses, and all the courses are there. You'll find the How to Buy Real Estate Without a Loan course and the Deal Hunting Monthly Mastery. They're actually at the top of the page, and you just click on them, and you can get to them there too. Okay. Lastly, thank you for being with us. Thank you for all the support. Make sure you like us. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, make sure you like us. Make sure you leave us a review. Make sure you subscribe to us. And if you so desire, go to the link inside the chat answer a couple survey questions, and let's set up an appointment. I will do a 45-minute interview with you. It's kind of like triage in the hospital. I kind of figure out where you're at and then let you know where you need to go next and what your plan should be, and we'll put together some sort of a business plan. It's no charge. If you want to talk about coaching in one of the courses, which about 1/3 of the people do, then I'll answer all those questions. But the intention is to help you. I make a lion's share of my money doing real estate transactions. I mean, I've got 7 deals working now. I had 8 because I just closed on one, and now I'm rehabbing another one. So, plus I have 3 or 4 of my coaching clients deals. So right now I've got a dozen deals working. I make my money doing all that, not trying to sell you coaching or trying to sell you something else. I make my money with real estate. Okay. With that said, I'm over and out. Thanks so much for listening. I can't wait to share some of the stuff that we're going to talk about, how you can find these leads and get better deals and enhance your life with real estate. All right. Thanks for being with us. Over and out. Talk next week.
Thanks for tuning in to the hottest real estate topics on the planet with Bill and Pete. If you want to continue learning how to buy and sell real estate without money or credit, head over to flippinghouses.club for some cutting-edge real estate wealth tools. Or contact us at info@flippinghouses.club.